Welcome to India's channel, a channel to educate and support India's implementation in India. IFRS is a buzzword since a decade and it is going to be the future era of accounting. Various countries, including in India, are in the process of implementation of IFRS. At this time, the million-dollar question for the corporates in India that is IFRS really benefit and what are the challenges for IFRS? At this time, it makes very important for all of us to understand and know the professionals and the industry who has already adopted and applied IFRS. We are fortunate enough to have with us Prerak Shah, who is a finance director of Arab Media Group. It is a media arm of Dubai Holding Company. Arab Media Group operates 9 radio channels. They also manage events and they runs Global Village. Welcome to Prerak.
Thank
you for this India's channel.
Thank you very much, Chintan, for having me here.
Yeah. Prerak, you have been in UAE since more than 12 years and your company is preparing IFRS financial statements. With this regard, we would like to understand few things from you. First thing, is the IFRS compulsory for all companies in UAE or is it voluntary?
It is not, Chintan, compulsory by law. However, there are 95% corporates here in Dubai or UAE, they follow the IFRS.
Wow, 95% corporates follow IFRS.
Yes, that's correct.
That means even if it's not compulsory, the companies follow IFRS. There are a lot of options in the world. The dominant gap in the world is US gap. Why the companies in UAE are not following US gap and then IFRS? I think the answer may be lying with the benefits of IFRS. Can you please throw some highlights and throw some lights on which are the main important benefits for the corporates if they adopt IFRS?
Sure. To name few benefits, I would say the first and foremost thing is, Chintan, is a transparency.
Okay.
All right. IFRS creates a transparent accounts. All right. Across the region, across the countries. The second most reason benefit, I say it's a comparability. And your numbers are very much comparable across the countries by following the same standards. Third thing, credibility. All right, your credibility becomes very high if you produce the IFRS. Users or the readers of the financial statements, they would understand. You are following global standards.
Right.
All right. And last thing would say user friendly. The IFRS are very user friendly standards, except definitely few are complex standards, but in general, it's a very user friendly standards.
Yeah, so I think with the comparabilities and acceptance across the world, one of the very important difference between IFRS and US GAAP is the US GAAP is a rule-based standard and IFRS is a principle-based standard. Hence, once the principle-based standard is, that means you have solutions to all our situations. One principle can be applied to any situations. Here, I would also like to understand which are the most important challenges that is being faced by so many corporates who are already under IFRS.
Mentioned there are benefits, however there are challenges.
Yeah.
All right. The challenge would be extensive disclosure, Chinta. Yeah, IFRS require disclosure requirement. Sometimes becomes too tedious, and management or finance team, they have to spend a lot of time in producing this disclosure requirement. The second thing, the most of major corporate, they follow the ERP systems.
Oh yeah.
ERP systems are not to produce the reporting requirements, which is keep on evolving every now and then. All right. Then definitely these IFRS standards are very much subjective. All right. There is element of subjectivity involved. All right, because it's a principle-based standards.
Yes.
All right, and then there are few standards which are quite complex to understand. Or like to name few standards, it's like say financial instrumental standards, business combination standards, accurate valuation, then the control definition of let's say recent IFRS 10, which determines whether your company is a joint venture or it's an associate or it's a subsidiary. So these concepts are very difficult to understand. Then the recent another standard IFRS 15 revenue recognition standards. It's again very complex. That's why majority of the companies or around the world they're not doing the early adoption of the standards, and they're trying to delay as much as possible because they want to understand the implication of the standards.
Yes, I think Priyak, you are true at this time because when we look at the IFRS 15, there is a revenue from contract with customers, and equivalent standard in India was Ind AS 115. When the MCA has issued a notification at the time, Ind AS 115 was compulsory. However, there is a news that NACAS has recommended to MCA for deferment of Ind AS 115. So yes, it seems that it will take a couple of years to really understand the implementation challenges for Ind AS 115.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, one more question about the IFRS. I think the most relevant and widely guessed and widely asked is about fair value. Now, it's always perceived that IFRS is nothing but the fair value, and the age-old historical cost concept is now gone because of IFRS has come into picture. Is it really true?
Chintan, it's not really true. IFRS is not just about the fair valuation concept. Okay, there are a few standards which talk about how you should do fair valuation. Let's say IFRS 15, it talks about fair valuation. Now, I'm coming from media background, so it is used IFRS gives a guidance on fair valuing our revenue, barter revenue. However, and then there are a few more standards which talk about fair valuation. But if you see the overall framework of the IFRS, the fair valuation concept is very much limited. You few certain standards. Okay. To conclude, IFRS is not just about fair valuation.
Oh, thanks, Priyak, for that particular conclusion because it really helps users and viewers. I think, Priyak, what you discussed, just to brief you about your discussion, IFRS is something which is a very relevant and very important standards. Even if the corporates in UAE are not compulsorily required to adopt IFRS, but still they go for IFRS. The reason is that it is widely accepted. It is more disclosure, but required for investors and stakeholders. It is a principle-based standard which really makes easy to apply for any kind of situations, and also IFRS is not only a fair value. And now, before we conclude, Priyak, I have a final question, and really I will say we require tips. Can you just provide a 3-point tipper for the corporates in India who are at the verge of implementation of Ind AS in India?
India, as I understand, is going live on IFRS from 2016-17 onwards. The first and foremost thing, is to do a proper planning. To ensure that you implement IFRS in a smooth manner. Then I would say training is another aspect, which is most important thing. Your staff needs to be well trained. They need to understand the implication of the IFRS, and they also need to understand, what would be the implications over years. And third and most thing is a management support. Your top management needs to provide a proper support. They need to understand that this is a global standard. It will give a proper disclosures to our stakeholders at a large, various stakeholders, and then without that support, it's impossible to implement the IFRS.
Thank you very much, Priyak. Your experience of dealing with the IFRS financials for 12 years really helped the corporates in India. And your 3-point tipper, I think the best one and very important. First is about the plan early. If you plan early, then it is a base for smooth implementation. Point number two is a staff training. Training to staff is the heart of the real IFRS implementations. And step three is with respect to top management support. These three are the very important tips. And with this, I am very much thankful to Prerak for giving his valuable time for our India's channel. Thanks, Prerak.
Thank you, Chintan.
And thank you very much to all of my viewers. Please subscribe to India's channel to get regular updates on videos which are uploaded on India's.